a very good evening to all of those joining me live on the News 9 digital page. I'm Neha. Former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. Farooq Abdullah, finds himself in the midst of controversy yet again after making a shocking statement saying Kashmiris do not feel Indian and they would rather prefer to be ruled by China. The National Conference chief has yet again kicked up a storm. Dr. Farooq hopes Article 370 will be restored in the valley with the help of China. While giving interview to a leading news channel, Dr. Farooq said China was never happy with the abrogation of Article 370 and said the reason behind the aggression from China was only the abrogation of Article 370. He said China never accepted the step that was taken by the central government. Dr. Abdullah said whatever they're doing at LAC in Ladakh, all because of the abrogation of Article 370, which they never accepted. I'm hopeful that with their support, Article 370 will be restored in Jammu and Kashmir, quote unquote. He has never really accepted the abrogation and even in the past had dared Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying if the latter becomes Prime Minister 10 times, he won't be able to touch the special status given to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. He, in the strongest voices, continues to oppose the abrogation, saying the people of the valley never accepted it. After being under detention for months, Farooq Abdullah and his son Umar were released on the 13th of March and 24th of March respectively. BJP, on the other side, has now hit out at Dr. Abdullah and also called his remarks a seditious statement and also called Dr. Abdullah a repeat offender. BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra said that he is the same person who said Pakistan occupied Kashmir is not your father's property to be taken away, quote unquote. Patra also called Rahul Gandhi and Farooq Abdullah different side of the same coin. Now joining me over the phone line is Surendra Ambardar. In fact, he joins me with some more inputs on it. He is the former MLC of Jammu and Kashmir and a senior BJP leader. Thank you so very much, Mr. Ambardar, first of all, for taking out some time and speaking to News 9. Now, sir, the first question that I'd like to ask you, Dr. Farooq hopes Article 370 will be restored in the valley with the help of China. He's yet again in the eye of the storm. Your first reaction on it?
Yeah, there are multiple dimensions of this statement. One, definitely we need to see the present position of China, which is in a very disarray. One, that there is an internal revolt against the kingpin in China. Second, Taiwan, South Korea, and Hong Kong. They are all revolting against, including Taiwan, they are revolting against China for their presence and expansion in their territories. So, under such circumstances, a former leader who has association with JKLF is coming out with a statement should be seen a statement of JKLF, not of Farooq Abdullah.
But Dr. Abdullah seems to be quite unhappy with the abrogation of Article 370 from the very beginning. As I mentioned earlier as well, here in the past, dared Prime Minister saying that even if he becomes Prime Minister for 10 times, he won't be able to touch Article 370. Why is it so? Because many political pundits like yourself also have touted it as a great move for the people of the valley since it opens, doors for endless opportunities. So why do you think Dr. Abdullah has been opposing the move by the central government from the very beginning?
Senior, that his father, late Sheikh Abdullah, was arrested for asking Nehru Sahab to fulfill the promise which Nehru Sahab had never made and Indian Parliament had never made, number one. Number two, there is then another issue. He was the president of Jammu Kashmir Cricket Association, and it is being seen that there is a huge bungling in that association. We have an established institute that was known as Finance Corporation, Jammu Kashmir Finance Corporation. There is a huge bungling in that. There is a huge bungling in Jammu Kashmir Bank as well. So the stage has come where the government of India, the NIA, EDB has started investigating into the all corrupt practices that have taken place in the last 70 years. So therefore, under such circumstances, he is one of the beneficiaries, so he cannot accept the reality of it that now the people of Kashmir want things to be set on the right track, and he is one who is still favoring the traditional, non-transparent and corrupt system in Jammu and Kashmir. You have to see it from the last election. Actually, how many votes were polled when he was fighting the parliament election, and what was the margin that he won. He has been rejected by the people of Kashmir especially. So therefore, under such circumstances, he has to go and toe to the line of Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, of which one of the so-called leaders, Yasin Malik, was a very close colleague of National Conference headed by Farooq.
Right. So, there are also many leaders who have accused political leaders of taking the mileage, Kashmir political leaders of taking the mileage at the behest of the people of Kashmir. And they say leaders like Dr. Abdullah aren't really worried about the welfare of the people, but they're only worried about their own welfare. Do you also believe that this is the case?
You can gauge it from once National Conference and PDP negates, boycotts the panchayat and urban elections in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and of course they have never pleaded for 73, 74 amendment, which empowers a common man everywhere in the country, and that was precisely what the common man of Kashmir is aspiring as well, that the development should reach at ground level, at zero level, at village level. You have to understand it. Boycotting panchayat urban elections in the Jammu Kashmir is an indication, a strong indication. They don't want people's empowerment. They want to be, they want to continue to be kings with a limited democracy. They don't want to deliver the autonomous effectiveness of the democracy.
Mr. Ambardar, being somebody who's from the valley, would you be able to tell us if the people of Kashmir and Jammu are happy with the abrogation of Article 370? Because Dr. Farooq last time had said Kashmiris do not feel Indian and they would rather prefer to be ruled by China.
I see this statement, Kashmiris don't feel for National Conference now. They don't feel for the traditional and family organizations now. They feel for a development which can be ensured by the Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi ji, and the Atmanirbhar Bharat is being seen a huge reform and prosperity in offering.
Mr. Ambardar, he says that Article 370 will be restored in the valley with the help of China. At least he hopes so. What do you think prompts Dr. Abdullah to say these things and not back the central government at this point of time, at this crucial juncture, particularly given the formidable enemy we face at the border? Don't you think it can somewhere backfire?
Neha, what is the truth about Kashmir? It is the politicians of Kashmir has been creating a paranoid psychology in the people of Kashmir from last 70 years. And it is that effect. They were selling to Kashmiris that if we are not in between, then India will not help you. And they were selling a reverse theory in Delhi that if we are not in between, then Kashmir will be no more with you. Now, both in India, people of Kashmir and government of India, there is a consensus. They are on the same page that minus the leaders like Farooq Abdullah and other PDP leaders, Kashmiris will be Indians and India will be for Kashmir.
Right. Lastly, Mr. Ambardar, can we expect an action against Dr. Farooq Abdullah soon? Will the BJP press charges against him under UAPA?
I mean, it is an act of treason, and I suppose that if I have to say that he should be booked under PSA and other laws with regards to treason.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambardar, for taking out some time and talking to News 9. Well, there you heard it. Dr. Farooq Abdullah's statement is sure to invite ire from several sections of the society. We already have a reaction from the BJP. But of course, having said that, this really isn't the first time that Farooq Abdullah has made such a statement Remains to be seen if this would be the last. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you really liked the video. If at all you liked the video, do not forget to subscribe News9 Digital. Like us on News9 YouTube as well as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care. Stay safe.